Hello everyone, welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 19th of February 2016. This week, I'm really fucking tired. I was up really late working on the Enemy of the People video, and that video took me like 4 days to do. And I'm just shattered, and so I'm going to do this in really fucking lazy, shitposty style like I do on my alternative channel. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see more bullshit videos like this. But I don't think you're going to be too disappointed though, because the editing takes a lot of time. That's the problem, and I'm just really shattered. But I didn't want to disappoint people with and just like not do anything and just be like, you know what, actually I'm feeling too fucking lazy. I didn't want to do that. I'd rather do something, you know, even if it's just a bit shit in quality compared to usual. But this week the stories are so good, I think it makes up for it. I promise this will make up for it. So first, student whistleblower. Diversity class presents multiple isms as fact without allowing for debate. What did I fucking say was happening? Who fucking could have predicted this? Who could have known? So, what does a fictional normal university look like? It's a place full of racism, homophobia, toxic masculinity, white privilege, and sexism. According to a diversity class currently taught at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. At UMass Amherst, students are required to take two, quote, social justice classes. Oh, but what's a social justice course? Can someone just define one for me? I mean, I don't know what they're called. They're just, they're just so fucking obvious, though. To earn a diploma in this course, Educating 115, Embracing Diversity. Look, that's got nothing to do with social justice. It's just a neutral course. I don't know what you're talking about. Fulfills one of those requirements. And in it, students must act out examples of racism to prove America is racist from A to Z. Students must also read about how society is dominated by white privilege and discuss ways to combat this. They're charged with creating mock sexual assault awareness campaign and taught US society pushes male domination over women. Another assignment has them coming up with ways to make the university a more welcoming to a low-income black lesbian majoring in engineering. Yeah, you know, the most common kind of low-income black lesbian. What the fuck is this? New vocabulary words are thrown at students, including internalized classism, cultural imperialism, and a man box assignment teaches students that when men try to prove their masculinity, it ends up with frequently disastrous consequences. There's nothing wrong with this. Well, I mean, what's wrong with teaching this as fact? What's wrong with them indoctrinating your children into this? I mean, no, they're paying for this as well. I mean, look, it's a free market. They should be free to be indoctrinated into any cult that they want. Except I imagine that UMass Amherst is probably about half funded by taxpayers in the same way Berkeley was. I should have looked in advance, to be honest, but like I said, this is a fucking shit episode of This Week in Stupid. So, the class is led by Professor Benita Barnes, who has a definite liberal bias. Well, you did need to tell us that. Honestly, that was just fucking evident. A student who told the college who took the course told the college fix. She really thinks that everyone in the United States is inherently racist or sexist, and I think she just thinks that the school is a subset of that. She absolutely does. I can tell you now, without having ever spoken a word to her, having seen anything by her, that is what she thinks. Barnes, both a professor and director of diversity advancement. Look at that. Director of diversity advancement. She gets paid for that. Why? I mean, if it was like director of Catholic advancement or director of Islamic advancement, it would be just as fucking pointless and meaningless and just... It's basically like a privileged class. That's what they're creating. They are getting paid to spew this bullshit and promote it. And this is how they make money. That needs to stop. So, you know, I'm sorry. People are like, hey, censorship. No, this is cancer. I'm sorry, this is cancer. We can't let this go on. You can't be tolerant of something that's going to destroy what you actually value. You can't be tolerant of something. And the thing is, I don't even hold tolerance as a value. Fuck tolerance. I'm not going to be tolerant of things that I think are shit. I'm not going to be tolerant of the worst things in the world. Tolerance is a consequence of liberalism. It's not a goal of liberalism. Tolerance is a goal of progressivism. Fuck progressivism. The students described the course as a hostile environment, where the professor and some students would get agitated when comments were made pointing out things that might be false, when ideas were questioned. Yes, that's because they're part of a cult. That's classic cult behaviour. There were no real discussions, there were no debates or anything like that. It's just that these are the facts and that's it, said the student who provided the college fix a stack of assignments from the course which he took last fall. According to the syllabus, embracing diversity, again, diversity is a consequence of removing the pressure and the barriers for people to achieve. If you just say, right, okay, we're not going to hold people back on any of these criteria, the only thing that will hold people back is their lack of ability or lack of effort and lack of work, then you will find things becoming as diverse as... I mean, look at like movies in the 80s and 90s and TV series. You didn't think about it, but there were black people all over the place. Like, you know, non-white people, women, you know, it just wasn't an issue, and it was all there. And now they're pushing the shit. Everyone's like, you know, I'm not watching the female Ghostbusters. I'm not watching like female Iron Man or fucking like Nazi Captain America. And just, oh god, it's just, they fucked everything up. You could just leave people alone, and they do it on their own. You know, because believe it or not, people aren't all fucking racists. People don't even like racism. They're against it, you cunts. Anyway, so the students, the first year students, are dedicated to how students can better see themselves and others, quote, through an appreciation of attending college as a cultural experience with its own unique set of rules, biases, and expectations. Or you could just go there to learn whatever it is you're getting a degree in. And then you can get out, you can get a career, you can be successful, you can be the change that you want to see, rather than feeling the need to fucking busybody everyone else's lives. The course, the syllabus adds, pushes to move the discourse of diversity beyond mere tolerance, celebration, or appreciation. Well, that's fine, because fuck you. Embracing diversity. One reading assignment in the class, Normal University and the Story of Sam, tells the story of Sam, a low-income black lesbian who attends Normal University, an Ivy League-like university whose namesake had a role in the slave trade. Oh, well, that's relevant, isn't it? You know, yes, well, I know that this was ended like 150 years ago, but did you know? No, I don't care. Are you going to tell me about the Crusades next, are you? Sam faces all sorts of oppression during her freshman year. No, she doesn't. No, none of these students are facing any oppression. You are facing individual acts of inconvenience. That's it. That's what it is. It's not oppression. There's no debate on this. I'm sorry, we're done. Her roommate's friends make racist remarks. Yeah, see? Individual acts of inconvenience. And even then, it's just words. You can just be like, shrug. Funds are diverted from the campus LGBTQ organisation, and a protest over the use of bathrooms reminds her of stories shared about the Jim Crow era. Holy shit, can you even imagine? Bathrooms are now segregation. Okay, why not? To top it all off, oh god, this is just cancerous. To top it all off, she studies in a male-centric engineering department. They don't care about her feelings. They just don't care. She's like, yeah, but I feel that this should work. Well, let me introduce you to STEM. Where a woman has never been promoted in tenured. Presumably because they're all sexists. Not because, you know, there are very few women there. And there are lots and lots of men. And just the fucking odds. It's like pulling out a fucking straw in a fucking haystack. If, you know, you're unlikely to pull out the needle if there are fuck all needles in there. What do you want? At the end of the reading, students in the course are tasked with choosing an option to make the university more welcoming for Sam. No, fuck off. It is as it is. She chose to go there. No one's stopping her from being there, and then no one's trying to make her leave. That's all that needs to happen. We don't have to cater to her particular feelings, because then we have to cater to everyone's fucking feelings, which means that everything has to be changed and made, like, dumbed down and just impossible to ever fulfill these criteria. It's silly. Sam has to go, you know what? It's fine. No, I'll just ignore that twat. I'm going to get on with my job, and even if I don't particularly like it, I'm just going to stick it out, and then afterwards, I'll be fine. You know, I'll have my engineering degree. Fuck it. You know, no, this is what happens. And again, nothing's actually happening here that is actually wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. Her roommate's friends make racist remarks. Well, that's nice, but that's nothing to do with the course, is it? You know, funds are diverted from the campus LGBTQ organisation. Okay. And a protest over the use of bathrooms reminds her of stories about the Jim Crow era. That's not oppression. Nothing about this oppression. And the, quote, male-centric nature of the engineering department, you knew what it was when you fucking signed up for it. Don't give me this shit. That's the natural thing, right? So, this is one of many course assignments attained by the College Fix that are included in the course and purport A Society of Racism, Sexism, and Oppression. It's amazing how non-white immigrants are constantly trying to go there, though, isn't it? You know, millions of non-white illegal immigrants are like, you know what? The United States is basically a slave state. I mean, it basically is still with black people in the fields. It basically is like Japanese people being rounded up into internment camps still, and it basically is just the worst place on earth. I need to get in. Why the fuck would you think this? You can't. The world you're creating is not internally consistent. This is the thing. The narrative is not internally consistent. Of course, the course, according to the syllabus, uses a team-based learning strategy. Oh, fuck me, you collectivist cocks. No, I'm an individual. I'm in this class. I will do my work. You will do your work. And then we will be graded on our individual work. How about you suck my fucking cock? And I'm just talking as someone who was a fucking lazy motherfucker in school and university and college. I just didn't. I put in the bare minimum effort. So for me, that would be brilliant. I would be that guy who sat there and went, you know what, I don't care about this at all, so I'm going to do nothing. I will literally coast, do the very bare minimum, and someone else, some industrious hard worker, will be sat there going, fuck's sake, I wish he'd do some work, and I'll be like, no, not doing any work, fuck you. I've realised that I'm 11 minutes into this, so this is actually going to be a really long episode as well. I didn't think about this, but this is going to be a longer episode and shittier episode than normal. But yeah, no, it's not fair for me to piggyback off someone else's work, and I won't have it. If I'm a lazy cunt, I deserve to reap the rewards of being a lazy cunt, and I don't deserve to leech off someone else, and that's the way it has to be. Module 2, men have domination over women, and thus they women become their property. I love this. If you're going to teach students this, then is it any wonder that they start coming out and going, Christ, I'm oppressed. I mean, you are literally telling them that men have domination over women. No wonder. No wonder the fucking millennials are so cucked. No wonder these fucking beta male hipsters are like, Christ, well, I'm not going to do anything masculine because, I mean, I don't want to have domination over women. Fucking hell. Covering inequality and oppression, Module 2 is included a reading about Social Justice University. Oh, God. The case study explained 4 folk beliefs regarding sexual assault, and at the end, tasked students with creating a mock sexual assault awareness campaign for the fake university. Folk beliefs regarding sexual assault. As in, I mean, they must be thinking that, like, they must be thinking that the regular public are the ones with the folk beliefs, and that's what they're trying to change. Expanding on one of the 4 folk beliefs, the reading stated, our society has socialized both men and women to believe that men have domination over women, and thus they, women, become their property, and as well as are required to bend to their wants and wishes. Where is this being promoted? Who says this? I can't ever think of anything. I mean, I'm thinking of, like, Married with Children, where, like, Al is just desperate to get away from the persistent demands of his wife and just wants some peace and fucking quiet. It really doesn't look like he has domination over shit. And that's the kind of, you know, the sort of stereotypical joke of, you know, the sort of, like, parody of a modern Western family that I was used to. And I found funny because, I mean, like, you know, I didn't see anyone, any of my friends or family or anyone whose fathers were, like, treating their women like slaves. It's just, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like they think that, like, everyone lives in the 50s. And even then, I doubt it was like this in the 50s. I really doubt it was nearly this bad in the 50s and 60s. I really don't believe it. But maybe it was. Maybe it was. The document then goes on to say that when a man acts aggressive or possessive towards a significant other, women internalize this bad behavior as acceptable and end up feeling loved as opposed to harmed. Because he gives a shit about her. Oh my god. People are possessive about their significant others. Yes, women are possessive about their fucking significant others as well. It's not fucking a one-way street. They talk about women as if they are actually objects. This is the thing. They talk about women as if they have no agency. As if a woman has never been like, bitch, stay away from my man. I didn't think I was going to go through this whole thing. I knew it was a bit long, but I thought I'd just go through a bit and then go like, yeah, okay, we know how cancerous this is. But look at this. Module 3, Racism from A to Z. Oh, this is just going to be fucking classic, isn't it? Dubbed Race, Racism and White Privilege, the course's third module includes readings entitled What is Racial Domination? I imagine it's very similar to Gender Domination. Understanding White Privilege, White Institutional Presence, the Impact of Whiteness on Racial Campus Climate. Just fucking end me. Just bleach me, dudes. I don't care. Just... I've got to smoke while I'm doing this. I just have to. This shit is just driving me to smoking. And my addiction. But yeah. In an in-class assignment, told students examples of racism can be found in our society from A to Z. To prove it, the students were given 15 letters and had to identify an act, behaviour, law, practice, etc., past or present, that exemplifies racism. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, past or present. Okay, can you find a law in the United States at the moment that is a racist law? A law that specifically targets people based on their race. I mean, there might be some against white people, I haven't checked, but I really doubt there are some against black people. And what difference does it make if in the past they existed, if they don't exist now? I mean, a lot of bad things existed in the past, but that's where they belong. In the fucking past. Module 4, Internalized Classism, Privilege, Cultural Imperialism. You know, I am actually a bit of a cultural imperialist. There are many cultures that I think actually need to be done away with. The culture of many Islamic societies, and like honor killings, female circumcision, stuff like that, I really think these are cultures that need to die. Just, they're awful. In these regards, I am a total Western chauvinist, and I'm fucking proud of that. We have a much better culture than these places, and if we can influence them, then we should talk, we should talk to them via like Twitter and stuff and say, look, are you sure this is the right thing to do? Because I mean, you are cutting off a part of a young girl that will give her like her life, it will make her life richer when she's an adult. Do you not think it's a bit fucking psychotic to be doing this? Are you not? I mean, and again, the fact that you're just getting a fucking rusty razor to do it is bad enough. It's not even done in surgical conditions. But the fact that you're doing it is just it's a fucking crime against humanity. How can you do this to a person? Yeah, I'm sorry. Some cultures are bullshit. Fucking Papua New Guinean culture, where the young boys have to suck dick and swallow the semen if they, or else they're not going to be treated as men. I mean, Jesus, fucking yes. Cultural imperialism. I am a cultural imperialist. Fuck you. At the end of the assignment, students were asked what are the possibilities and restraints of what students can do to create a less classist environment on campus. Well, I mean, it's very interesting you come down to class. I'd be very interested to hear what Jonathan Butler has to say about classism. He's probably more concerned with racism, because he's the son of a multi-millionaire. And he's black, so he doesn't really want to talk about classism. Classism is an inconvenient thing for him to talk about. The assignment also called for students to apply 5 of the defined works to the stories of Emily and Matthew, to Amherst College students profiled in the book Speaking of Race and Class, The Student Experience at an Elite College. Okay, how is this not social engineering? That's what I want to know. I mean, what are they actually being taught here? They're being taught how to act and how to think. They're being indoctrinated into these methods of thought. And this is an attack on the way people act. This isn't like learning something. This isn't building something. This is them controlling things. This is what has to stop. This is not anything suitable for a university. This is the sort of thing I would expect to find in a cult indoctrination center. Like, this is the sort of thing I would expect in Scientology. Emily came to campus unsure how to talk to blacks. I can't believe I've done 80 minutes on this. I should probably just fucking skip this. This has been going on, but it's like a fucking House of Horrors, isn't it? It's just a total shit show. You just see the next thing, go, oh god, how much worse can this get? Oh, how much worse can this get? Oh, fucking of course. Go on. The Man in the Box. What's this? Gender and sexism. Fucking obviously. Guyland, where boys become... Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, total fucking cancer. So, book publishers hiring sensitivity readers to offend out offensive content. Yeah, and this is what happens. This is the translation of that cancer into society, right? So, book publishers fearing the backlash from social justice activists are hiring special readers to check books and flag up racist, sexist, and other so-called offensive content before they go to print. A sensitivity reader is someone who, for a small fee, there's always a small fee involved, will provide feedback about the book based on self-ascribed areas of expertise, like dealing with terminal illness, racial dynamics in Muslim communities, or transgender issues. I tell you what, I'm interested in hearing about the racial dynamics in Muslim communities. Fucking hell, who's Islamophobic in that fucking question? In that fucking thing? Just Oh dear. Children and young adult book editor, Cheryl Klein, claims the industry recognizes this as a real concern and added that the process of hiring specialized readers to review the books has become the norm in the business. Publishers are encouraged to hire such experts out of fear of a potential backlash for publishing books that have perceived bias and troublesome portrayals of suck my fucking dick. I'll publish the fuck I like, and if you don't like it, don't fucking buy it. That's your solution. Don't fucking buy it. Who is encouraging these publishers? Oh, I suppose maybe Cheryl Klein is one of those people. But I would like these people named and shamed. Oh god, I just skimmed ahead. Last year, J.K. Rowling was attacked by Native American readers for her portrayal of Navajo traditions in The History of Magic in North America. What, did she do a bad time, did she? Badly, did she? Gizmodo slammed the book, writing, "Who could have predicted that a white lady from the UK," yeah, that's the problem, that she's white, would have problems with appropriating Native American culture. Sounds like she was writing a historical work. I've not read it, so I don't know. I mean, it might have been a total fiction and stuff like that. I mean, maybe they have like magic traditions and stuff. Obviously not real magic, but what they perceive. But who fucking knows? Anyway. Oh wait, that should have been completely obvious to anyone even thinking of what Rowling did. Kira Drake, a young adult book author, meanwhile, had to revise her fantasy novel The Continent, following the backlash on social media due to her portrayal of people of colour. She didn't have to, but she was afraid and felt the need to. She didn't have to. I wouldn't have done it. I'd have been like, no, fuck you. Fear of causing offence has left some authors scared, who then take the matter into their own hands. Author Suzanne Dennard hired a fan who's also a transgender man to review her portrayal of a transgender character in the book to ensure the character was accurate. I was nervous to write a character like this to begin with, because what if I get it wrong? I could do some major damage. Honestly, it's more that there are going to be people who find their personal pet peeves in what you've done and how it's not going to be perfect, and they're going to come at you, and which is obviously what's happened. Children's book author Kate Messner also used sensitivity readers for most of her books. She actively asks for feedback on whether her portrayal of certain characters and experiences are realistic and doesn't stand out as problematic. I wouldn't dream of sending those books out into the world without getting help to make sure I'm representing those issues in a way that's realistic and sensitive. I'm sure you wouldn't, but too bad. You don't understand what the fucking purity spiral is. There is no way of getting around this. And this is the thing, the ideology is not internally consistent. So there will always be these kind of conflicts. So no matter what you do, they will be able to find one of these fault lines that you cross and attack you on it. Pretty much ended that one. So, right. This one is not a comedy one, but I find this very interesting, and it's the mindset that is... I say a comedy one. The others weren't meant to be comedy ones either. But this is a tragedy. But I think it's really interesting, the comment at the end of this. So, on February 14th, 2017, an 11-year-old was killed by a stray bullet in Chicago. If you can fucking Adam and Eve it. Just... There are people going, oh, well, Donald Trump's so awful, but, something really has to be done, doesn't it? How much longer can this go on for? Just out of interest. I'm just really curious. But anyway, so the cousin of anti-violence activist Andrew Holmes was sitting in a car at 7:40 p.m. when shots were fired, police said. She was hit in the head, taken to the Children's Hospital in critical condition, was on life support for her death. Absolute fucking tragedy. That's the life of a young girl ruined, obviously, which is the worst thing, not just because it's a girl, but just the life of a fucking child absolutely fucking ruined. But that's the lives of the families ruined as well. It's not just one person. It's everyone who loved that person. And there will have been undoubtedly many people who love that person. It's fucking awful. This is fucking awful, right? But it's the anti-violence activist bit that gets me. It's you'll see. So I'll skip over like the details of like the what happened and stuff like this, because there's nothing controversial there. But Andrew Holmes predicted the arrest would be made. Who was Williams? Sorry, I should have checked that, shouldn't I? Was that who the fuck is Williams? Right. Her cousin Rachel Ray Williams had said this on Facebook, that where she passed away in her mother's arms. Thank you for all the prayers. Fucking, can you even imagine, man? This, no, I'm saying this as a parent. This is fucking horrific. It's honestly, right? It's difficult to resist the think of the children urge. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I really understood this until I became a parent, but there really is this. It is an internal sort of primordial fear that it's not hard to imagine that one day something like this might happen to you, and so you feel compelled to do something. Obviously, you shouldn't just do something on the basis that something bad might happen. You know, if you've got like a clear and present danger and threat like this, then yes, this is obviously producing things. But like, you know, like, oh, D&D needs to be censored, or, you know, heavy metal needs to be censored. Think of the children. Nah, it's bollocks. You know, unless people are actually getting hurt, it's total bollocks. But in this case, people are actually getting hurt. But so yeah, Williams has said that the murder of her cousin has shaken her beliefs. What happened with my baby Kia in testing is testing my faith as a prison abolitionist, because all I want is for them to pay. Not just for her, but for Kanara as well. I don't know who it was. But this is the thing. A prison abolitionist. I imagine that she's thinking, well, there are so many black people in prison that prisons should be abolished. But there are murderers. They're not just being sent to prison for the fucking fun of it. They're being sent to prison because they're committing crimes. And that's the reason people get sent to prison. I mean, we have the Western fucking judicial system. The English-speaking judicial system is pretty good. It's not perfect at all, but it's one of the best. The whole point is that we would rather let 9 guilty men go free than lock up one innocent person. That's the point of it. It's as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid. I don't see it. I don't see that there could be a better system in at least as we exist now. And the idea that, like, yeah, I'm a prison abolitionist, people shouldn't go to prison. Fucking hell, man. I think some people should go to prison. And people, the sort of people who started this fucking, obviously, gang violence need to go to prison. End of story. Anyway. Donald Trump can criticize the mainstream media all he likes. The press will continue to do its job brilliantly. What fucking reality am I in? What fucking reality have I just stumbled into, Rupert Cornwell? What the fuck are you on about? The press is doing its job brilliantly. Okay, well, let's see what the press is doing. They are basically political activists. They're acting as a class in defense of their own self-interest, and you think they're doing that brilliantly. That just says to me, you need to burn. You need to fucking burn. This is bullshit. There are like independent journalists, and you see them on Twitter and stuff, who are not like ideologically aligned and politically and financially aligned with like the clique, the sort of power, the corporatists in the media, and they are always on the outside, and they have like their own Patreons and stuff because they are self-funding. And if you find a journalist who you think's doing good work and there's a way of funding them personally instead of them taking like corporate money or something, you should do it. If you think that what they're doing is valuable, you should back them. We need to start getting money, corporate money, out of everything. You know, we really need to start. Just should become a zeitgeist. If someone is being paid by a big corporation, you tell them to fuck themselves. Just, you know. And I know that people are going, like, yeah, but you said the YouTubers should be able to do sponsor videos. It's like, well, if they want, you know. I personally wouldn't. And I think that the more people who do that, the better. But again, I'm not going to say it's like, it doesn't make them evil, but it makes them compromised, in my opinion. I wouldn't watch the video, or I wouldn't read the article, or whatever, you know, I wouldn't trust it. But, or I would at least be exceptionally skeptical. Exceptionally skeptical of such a thing. Anyway, Trump's constant remarks about fake news and dishonest journalists can't change the fact the press is working tirelessly to hold the White House to account. It's like a fiction, isn't it? You just live in a giant world of fiction. I mean, the press is doing nothing but trying to unseat the legitimately elected President of the United States. They are actually trying to undermine his presidency. They've been calling for impeachments over nothing. They've been pretending that they know there's some giant Russian conspiracy going on with no evidence. I've seen journalists on Twitter from mainstream outlets saying, you know, well, when's Donald Trump going to get assassinated? I can't wait for this to happen. You know, this is not holding the White House to account. This is you being at war with him. This isn't you being honest. And that's the thing. None of this all prevents you from being honest. It's really embarrassing. It's easy sometimes, even for neutrals, to be irritated by the mainstream media, the US establishment that Donald Trump rails about daily as dishonest, inept, and irredeemably biased against him. How is he wrong? How is he not telling the truth there? Because that is exactly what they appear to be from me, from my perspective, and I'm just saying this because this is what I see. If I wasn't seeing them lying constantly, if it wasn't just smear campaign after smear campaign after smear campaign against, I mean, just pick someone. I mean, Donald Trump, I think, had the worst smear campaign of all time against him, but I mean, PewDiePie had it, Gamergate had it, the alt-right had it. I mean, maybe you can say, well, that was legitimate. Well, maybe, but it still happened. They could just, like with Richard Spencer, for fuck's sake. Why did The Atlantic deceptively edit his speech to suggest that he said that the Jews weren't even human? He didn't say any such thing. He was actually implying that the media weren't human. They were the ones lying. He didn't actually say anything about the Jews. It's just, why do it? You know, a lot of the time, these people's views are odious enough. You could just represent them accurately, and you would be doing what you wanted to do. You would be putting the real information about what they believe into the minds of people, and that would change their minds. You don't have to lie, and as soon as you lie, it's everything else you say becomes in doubt. You think, well, that was, who knows? I can't trust the characterizations of anyone from the mainstream media, so why would I trust that one? But anyway, it's prone to taking itself far too seriously, at least for us Europeans. You can't imagine one of their number calling him or herself a hack, even in jest. Even when the First Amendment is your protector. Well, that's because you'd resemble that remark, isn't it? You would genuinely resemble it. The MSM can be ponderous, boring, and overfond of navel gazing. Yeah, that. If they were the MSM's biggest crimes, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. It would honestly be the least of my worries if you were ponderous, boring, and overfond of navel gazing. But not right now. These first weeks of the Trump era have already been a mini golden age. What, for the press? Yeah, the Donald Trump media press addiction is he thinks that the press is going through a mini golden age. Just delusional. Absolutely delusional. I mean, just check out PewDieGate if you want to know more. Check out Gamergate if you want to know more. There is just hashtags. Hashtag, do you want to know more? Starship Troopers fucking image. Carry on. Now, you might not have got the impression watching the bizarre stream of consciousness Trump press conference earlier this week, supposedly to announce the new nominee for Secretary of Labour, which turned into a blustering 78-minute long defence of his chaotic first 4 weeks in office, but don't be misled. I love this. This is... Fuck, I watched that press conference, and he's literally there saying, well, they're gonna say that I'm ranting and raving, and I guess blustering is a good simile there, but he wasn't. He was just talking to them, and he was trying to appeal to them. I'll probably do a live stream on this, where I'm just, like, going through it with, like, V and Arch and whoever else wants to join, really, and, you know, we'll talk about these things, because, like, they're so uncharitable. They're so uncharitable, and I see, like, you know, the Hillary voters on Twitter, and they're furious. They're like, my God, Trump made a comment the other day, and it wasn't 100% accurate. It's in fact slightly biased, or it was just false. And you didn't say anything, Sargon. It's like, well, okay, I mean, I probably didn't see it. I don't actually follow Trump's every fucking word. I only follow the things that are important, and really, I follow them to see the reaction of the media. This is the thing. I don't care about Trump. I just don't care. You know, I don't have any personal attachment, although I have to say, he's doing some great work. He cost George Soros $1 billion. Isn't that amazing? The stock market's an all-time high. He's doing, or at least trying to do, exactly what he said he would do on the campaign trail. I mean, I know you don't like it, but I've never seen the headline, politician does what he said he'd do, written on CNN before. I've never seen that. And so you can sit there going, well, I mean, blah, 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 you know, Donald Trump's awful. I don't think he's that awful. I really don't. I think this has been way overblown. And I think that this is the media now sucking its own dick. But okay. Trump may have led his questioners on a merry dance, but he was playing with every advantage. Oh no! Oh no, someone with power can speak back to the media after the media has been abusing its own power. Oh, let's just, oh, let me collect those tears in my fucking journo tears cup, which I might fucking get. Fucking SJW journalist tears. Suck my fucking cock, man. You awful people. Why are you lying all the time? Why do you do this? You would have a better result if you just told the truth, and then you would have a reputation for telling the truth. Then people would come to you expecting to hear the truth, or at least just like, not like the world's least charitable interpretation of everything that happens, would just be one step up from what you do right now. Anyway, despite this breaking every he was on home turf, the East Room of the White House. Yeah, because this is just like, I mean, he's been there for so long and he's just so used to the whole thing, isn't he? Reminding everyone that despite his breaking every convention of presidential conduct, he's not just America's political leader, but also, believe it or not, the country's head of state. Yeah, and get it into your fucking thick skulls. Get used to it. He is the president. You've got to stop trying to delegitimize him. It's embarrassing to watch. Reporters may not respect the individual, but they respect the institution. If they did, they would at least try not to be such phenomenal liars. You can criticize White House correspondents as too deferential, but it would be irreverent British hacks would irreverent British hacks really put the knife with more gusto into the Queen in the admittedly inconceivable event of a monarchical press conference at Buckingham Palace? You're only acting this way because it's Trump. You didn't act this way to Bush, you wouldn't act this way to any other like Republican, and you certainly wouldn't act this way to Hillary Clinton, and she is far worse than Donald Trump. I mean, can you imagine what Hillary Clinton would have been doing? It would have been doing more, she would have been doing more of the same. More of the same. I mean, we would probably already have been at war with Russia. We would probably already be overthrowing Assad as we speak. And shit would be hitting the fucking fan. Instead, we are on the timeline where Donald Trump has to stand up and just cop so much fucking flack from you people. You can probably hear that fucking thing in the background. God, this is going to be the shittest video in the world. So, moreover, it's a myth that, moreover, even. Fucking hell, sorry about the shit quality of this. I can hear that fucking ice cream truck in the background again. I should really delete this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to carry on. You're going to get an hour long, more than an hour at the rate this is going. Right, okay, no, this is bullshit. Fuck you, you're an idiot. Michael Moore, vacate to Trump. Vacate, you Russian traitor. Oh, Michael. Are we... I should have brought up the Russian thing, but thanks for doing it for me, Michael. You fucknut. You fucking beached whale. You fucking pussified walrus. You don't even have tusks and a beard. Jesus Christ, just... Michael, and why do you look like you're wearing a MAGA hat? Just out of interest. But, yeah, Michael, there has been absolutely no proof of this. And I think it was this week that they actually came out and said a statement. Look, the intelligence services don't have any connections to Donald Trump and Russia, and they're not hiding anything from the administration, because that would probably be verging on treasonous, wouldn't it? I mean, you know, it's pretty worrying that they're actually characterizing themselves as the deep state, as if they're a legitimate faction and they're in opposition to Trump. That's worrying, don't you think, Michael? Of course you don't think. What am I talking about? So, obviously, this is an article written out of tweets, which is great. So we will skip the text and just go straight to the tweets. Real Donald Trump, it's now noontime in DC and it appears you're still squatting in our Oval Office. I gave you till this morning to leave? Jesus. Michael. See, a lot of the time, right, with these articles, I'll read the first couple of paragraphs in the headline and then save them to go through on Sunday to see what I'm going to put in This Week in Stupid. So a lot of the time I am taken off guard by just... What are you still doing there, President? Excuse me, Mr. President. I gave you till this morning to leave. You're delusional, Michael. Who the fuck are you? You're a fat fucking documentarian. That's it. And you're known for taking people out of context. I mean, this is why South Park hate you. This is why they mocked you in Team America. You fat fucking suicide bomber. And okay, the second one. What part of vacate you Russian traitor don't you understand? We can do this the easy way, you resign, or the hard way, impeachment. No, Michael, I think you really should just strap yourself up with a suicide vest and just go in there, mate. Do it. Come on, make Team America a fucking documentary. It virtually is anyway. Who would have known the Film Actors Guild would actually come out and actually be exactly like they said in the fucking film? They almost word for word. I should go through and get the clip of that film and then just get the tweets of people saying almost exactly the things that they said they would say. Fucking delusional, Michael. You are absolutely fucking delusional. So, hey, real Donald Trump. 1 hour after Obama put sanctions on Russia, you told Flynn to call him and promise him it'll be okay. Traitor, resign by morning. Or what? And this Flynn thing, I find it baffling, right? I'm going to roll myself another cigarette and talk about this because, again, this is the kind of shit you get on my shitposting channel. It's not worth your time. Don't go there. And for the, 90,000 people who have subscribed to it already, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? This is the channel in which I do the real work, apart from now, obviously. And you should stay here and never go to my other one. It's bullshit, okay? Anyway. It's just fucking... Oh, Michael, I didn't realise you'd be such a fucking lolcow. I didn't realise I'd be able to milk you for so many kecks. I love how he's making these demands. I just love it. But anyway, this Michael Flynn thing, right? I would love for someone in the comments to explain this to me, because I'm really not... I mean, I've been following the story, obviously, but I'm really not, sure what exactly he's done wrong, other than being too eager to do his job. Because, as I understand it, I watched Ben Shapiro's rundown on this, and I really like Ben Shapiro, actually. He's a conservative, so I don't really agree with very many of his views, but he always goes out of his way to characterize things fairly. And even with Donald Trump, this is the thing, right? He is not unfair to Donald Trump in the way that the mainstream media is. He doesn't like Donald Trump, but he does give him the credit where it's due. And so when I was watching his rundown on this Michael Flynn thing, I was thinking, right, okay. And it got to the end and I was sat thinking, right, okay. So, again, I'll give you the quick rundown as I recall it. Basically, Donald Trump appoints Michael Flynn to be the, I don't know, whoever, the guy who deals with Russia. I can't even remember. What it obviously says here somewhere, but National Security Advisor or something like that. I should have looked it up in advance, but fuck it. If you came here expecting some sort of sense, you're in for a bad time. But yeah, so he appoints him to be the guy who's going to deal with Russia. And so Obama slapped new sanctions on Russia before he left office, because obviously why wouldn't you try and fucking make the new president's life a living hell if you hate him? And so Flynn calls Russia in his capacity as the man who's going to be going into this job and says, don't worry, we're going to sort all this out. Just have to wait a couple of weeks because I'm not quite in the job yet. And now and Trump may have told him to do this. You know, Trump may have said, look, just call him up because we're going to have to fix this fucking mess. And now they're like, resign by morning. And for some reason he did. I'm not even sure what he's done wrong there. I mean, isn't that exactly what he was going to do when he was in the office? Are you saying that he did his job without being paid for it? Because that's kind of how this sounds. I mean, this sounds like he was doing exactly what he was planning on doing. He just did it before he was able, in his official capacity. I mean, okay, and yeah, sure, he lied to Mike Pence. Okay, well, that's between him and Mike Pence, isn't it? Can't they apologise? Is this like some high crime? How is what he has done really wrong here? I mean, it's kind of, I guess you could say, well, he wasn't in the office, so he's kind of bending the rules. Like, well, yeah, I guess. But, I mean, again, if there's something I'm missing, do let me know in the comments, because I'm just sat here looking at this thinking, okay, this is such a non-issue. I just can't bring myself to fucking get pissed off about it. I just can't bring myself to give a shit. It seems like the left again is overreacting in the media, and fat fucking activists, which Michael Moore is just by dint of his existence. It just a fat activist. Not, I mean, he is fat and he is an activist, but he's also an activist for fat people because he's rolling around out in the wild. It's amazing. I just can't bring myself to give a shit, and I think they're full of shit again. But I mean, you know, tell me if it's wrong. So, UC San Diego students protest visit by oppressive and offensive Dalai Lama. I bet he never thought I bet he never thought he'd get to be oppressive. Maybe offensive. You know, he's probably a plain speaking man because he's from the East and they tend to be. No, they don't have political correctness there. But so students at the University of California, San Diego are protesting an upcoming visit by the Dalai Lama, claiming the Tibetan leader is oppressive. Tibetan leader is oppressive. China is occupying Tibet. The Dalai Lama is in exile and has been for most of his life, but he is oppressing people. I think those students might have been indoctrinated in one of these mandatory social justice courses. Chinese students are leading objections to the event. What? Fucking what? Chinese students are claiming that the Dalai Lama is the oppressive one. Oh my god. I've got to take a break. I'm going to pause this and I'll be back. Holy fucking shit. Okay, I've got myself under control again. So... No, I really do have it together this time. Right, so they're leading the objection to the event, which will see the Dalai Lama give commencement speech on graduation day. That's an honour, isn't it? They have claimed that his presence is offensive because of his campaign to make Tibet more independent. Contrary to the communist government, the communist government's position that Tibet is a region of China under their control. Yes, the Tibetans are being oppressed by the Chinese. What? I don't even know what's going on. Arguments over Tibetan independence have raged for decades. Shouldn't they be in favour of it? If they're SJW students and they're worried about offence and oppression, shouldn't they be like, yeah, well, the Dalai Lama is like a leader in exile? What the fuck is going on here? I mean, maybe there's something, there's like a layer of, well, I was going to say irony, but I mean information that is not available to me at this time or something. I don't know. This is unbelievable. Right, okay. So, as noted by Quartz, the Chinese Student Association framed their complaints as an example of cultural oppression and a problem of equality. Yes, the Tibetans are being oppressed, culturally and politically. What is the... this is just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. The fucking arrogance. This would be like white people saying that they're being oppressed by black people living in Chicago. Like, what are you talking about? What are you fucking on? A statement accused university leaders of having contravened the spirit of respect, tolerance, equality, and earnestness, the ethos upon which the university is built. That is a horrible ethos to build any institution of higher learning. The institution of higher learning, the ethos should be like accuracy, fucking meritocracy, all this sort of thing. You know, the respect, tolerance, equality, and earnestness should be. And I'm not saying they're not important, but they shouldn't be the first concern of the university. Other concerns like, you know, factual accuracy shouldn't be subservient to tolerance and equality. One student posting on Facebook said, "So you guys protesting against Trump because he disrespects Muslims, blacks, Hispanics, LGBT, and does he do that though? I mean, does he disrespect blacks, Hispanics? I mean, maybe Hispanics, you say Mexico. I mean, maybe you could say that. LGBT though, he's come out fully in support of that, and he always has been as far as I'm aware, because he used to be a fucking Democrat from New York. This is the thing, they're just lumping in every fucking thing they can, because, like, well, you know, we've already called him a racist, he's probably all these other things as well, even though he doesn't appear to be. This is my point, I have to defend him, because you're just liars. I mean, this was a student, so this wasn't the media, but, you know. They all have the same fucking opinions, though. It's like brain formatting or something. This invites this oppressor to make a public speech. The hypocrisy is appalling. Who the fuck is the Dalai Lama oppressing? He lives his life in exile. Likewise, an alumni group based in Shanghai said UCSD will be preaching its ethos of diversity and will leave them extremely offended and disrespected if the Dalai Lama's speech dips into the political. Tough. Tough. How about you take your Chinese privilege and suck my dick? Chinese officials are known to be extraordinarily hostile to groups who get close to the Dalai Lama, unsurprisingly, because he is a threat to their power over Tibet. if they can get the Chinese out of Tibet, China will have lost an area of its territory, a region of its sovereignty, and Tibet will gain its own. Which I don't see any problem with, personally. I don't see why Tibet shouldn't be sovereign. And I'm guessing it's about power for the Chinese. But anyway, so... they consider the Dalai Lama a threat to stability in China, akin to a terrorist who wants to split the country. There we go. They want hegemonic control over area that they've conquered. The Dalai Lama obviously wants Tibet to be a free country, I'm sure. This is just standard political bullshit. It's just normal. This is what happens. But to say the Dalai Lama is oppressive is just disconnected from reality. Despite his aim stated being increased autonomy rather than outright independence for Tibet, which he fled in 1959. See, that's how long the Dalai Lama has been in exile for. It's probably like 3 times the age of these fucking students. Unbelievable. Just unfucking believable. His insistence on peaceful protest and non-violent resistance basically makes him a terrorist. Oh no, it won him the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, there we go. Swings and roundabouts. It's hard to see who he is oppressing by touring the world, giving speeches and promoting peaceful opposition to China. Wow. SJWs, that's who he's terrorizing and oppressing. Yeah, so this is just like, government officials are certainly not above getting involved in campus politics. The University of Durham in Northern England, the Chinese embassy in London, tried to stop a Chinese-born activist and beauty queen from speaking in a debate. Anastasia Lin, the Miss World Canada winner, was asked to speak at the Durham Union Society on whether China was a threat to the West. But the students organising the debate received angry calls from embassy officials claiming that if Lin spoke it could damage UK-China relations, according to a BuzzFeed report. Okay, well, I mean, I don't want to just dismiss them for being BuzzFeed, but I guess I'd have to read more into it. Next one. This is perfect. German Chancellor Angela Merkel urges Europe to take more refugees as she says that Islam isn't the source of terror. Le Pen 2017, woo! Wilders, yes, Wilders the actual fascist, 2017, woo! Because that's what you're going to fucking get. You are a fucking idiot, Merkel. You are the one who is going to destroy the EU. It's going to be your policies that's really going to do it. People don't like the EU, but if the EU really wasn't a threat to their personal safety, it wouldn't be a problem. But man, I should have looked this up. There was a fucking thing like 20% of these refugees, quote unquote, are missing. They just don't know where the fuck they are. Could be anywhere in Europe. Thank God for the Schengen zone, I guess. Fucking Jesus Christ. So Merkel has urged Europe to take in more refugees and said that Islam is not the source of terror. It is a source of terror. It's not the source of terror. I mean, you could be a communist. That could be a source of terror. You could be an Irish nationalist. That could be a source of terror. But Islam is definitely a source of terror. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, the German Chancellor said that Europe has an obligation to take displaced refugees from Iraq and Syria. Actually, under international law, we don't. Like Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey, Iran, these countries, all bordering the source of the conflict, all have an obligation under international law. We have no obligation. They go to the first safe country. We are not the first safe country. We're like the 50th safe country. So they can fuck off. I'm sorry. No. And do you not think it would make more sense for these people to go to countries where they would be more culturally compatible? You know, if they're living under Sharia law and they go somewhere without Sharia law, they're going to be like, this place is weird. This place does not fit my normal cultural sensitivities. Whereas if they went to Saudi Arabia, which has, hundreds of thousands of tents, just empty in the desert where people could live, they would be fully understanding of... And I imagine the majority of them are Sunni as well. So they would just be, totally culturally compatible with where they've gone. They'd understand the language. They'd understand the reason the people are doing the things that they're doing. They wouldn't have to have, like in Norway, teach migrants not to rape classes, and then none of these people would end up getting raped trying to teach the migrants not to rape. And that's something that actually fucking happened. I'm not making this up. And there have been numerous occasions where, activists and politicians and people who are like the left-wing intelligentsia have been raped by these migrants and tried to cover it up to prevent racism. And Merkel's just, look at her, just fucking sat there. You know what we should do? Take in more migrants. Why? Because I'm not going to get raped by a migrant. It's like, well, there we go. You don't give a shit. You don't care. And she's already said that multiculturalism doesn't work. And back in 2011 she said this. It's just like, fucking hell, Merkel, you're awful. I can't understand. Right? She's not massively unpopular in Germany. She is not unpopular in Germany. Fucking get that through your head. Imagine. She's bringing about 2 million migrants now. Since 2014, about 2 million of them have entered Germany. There have been hundreds of thousands of crimes, about 400,000 crimes, and I mean, they had to create a new category of rape for these migrants, which was rape in public baths, because it happened so often. It still does. There are still people having their lives ruined by these migrants. And she's like, you know what we should do? We should just take some more. Just take some more. That's alright, take some more. I'm not even worried about the terrorism. You know, the terrorism is actually a small thing. Like, I should have got Kraut's fucking map up. He's got this map of Germany. Just every single incident of a person having been victimized by a migrant is mapped out on this map. The whole thing is just, all of Germany is just covered in these fucking, you know, markers on Google Maps. It's horrific. It's fucking horrific. I mean, Merkel should be held accountable to the things that she has enabled, and instead she's like, you know what we should do? More of the same. That's what we need. More of the same. It's like, no, this is just it. You are irresponsible. You have a duty to your own citizens, and you are shirking that duty by suggesting that they should take in huge numbers more of migrants. Just fucking. I mean, they've had to start deporting people, because like hundreds of thousands of people they have turned away at the border because they weren't vetted, and you would think that she would be like, yeah, I just don't understand this mindset. Anyway, in fact, this is gonna be a fucking long video because there's a lot I want to talk about. But this is the thing. This is easy. This takes no time to fucking edit. You know, I'm just gonna fucking upload this, and it's just me talking, stream of consciousness bullshit. And I apologize for the low quality, but this is easy to make. Editing videos is time consuming. So, urged Europe to take in more refugees, and Islam is not the source of terror. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, the German Chancellor said that Europe has an obligation to take this displaced refugees. She's critical of the US travel ban on 7 Muslim-majority countries, and also underlined that Islam itself is not the source of terrorism. Merkel, you're cancer. Shut up. She said, battling extremism can only be done in cooperation with Muslim countries, and vowed to work closely with Vladimir Putin's Russia to fight ISIS in the Middle East. Well, why? What are they, terrorists? What are they, Islamic fundamentalists who also happen to be a terrorist state? Nothing to do with Islam, though. Europe's ties with Russia are challenging, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Any actual real thing? No. Just this is what she asked for. Can you imagine how fucking unbelievably disconnected from reality is? I mean, I suppose if she wants Germany to finally go fascist again, she's on the right course. Maybe she's just doing this to get herself to become the new Führer. She's like, yeah, more migrants. And when the Germans are like, no, we can't take any more, she hits a button and the Nazi banners unfurl. And the fucking Horst Wessel song starts playing, and suddenly there are fucking stormtroopers jackboot marching through the streets. She's like, finally, I get to be the Führer. And also, they've banned trucks during carnivals amid terror fears. Nothing to do with Islam. Nothing to do with the migrants. What are you talking about? How dare you? You need more of these people. The problem is assault trucks. We should ban them. Because that's what they're going to do. I'm like, well, I mean, I was going to drive a truck into this carnival and murder loads of the infidels. But I'm not going to. Merkel banned them. I mean, Kraut and T is right. They're total institutionalists in Germany. They think the institutions will take care of everything. So, and I'm sorry, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's not how it works. You know, you are literally not going to be able to say, well, I mean, now that we've banned trucks during carnivals, there will be no more truck attacks. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, there's probably not a huge amount I need to read from this, because there we go, that's the entire article. But Cologne will ban all the general security situation, the threat of terrorism has an impact on police action. Yeah, this is another thing, right? Paris. A friend of mine went to Paris recently, and he texted me going, Christ, there are basically soldiers just everywhere. Just armed soldiers with assault rifles, you know, in military garb, just standing on the streets of Paris. It's like Paris is currently under occupation. That's what has happened to the French people. Are you surprised that Le Pen's going to win? Are you surprised that she's leading all the polls and she's smashing all of her competition? You know, I was reading about Le Pen the other day, and her father was an extreme far-right nationalist, really the bad types. Le Pen is actually a lot more moderate. I mean, she's still a far-right nationalist, but she's a lot more moderate, and she expunged the party of the sort of like the 1488 types, anyone, you know, Jews or anything like that. She's like, no, this has all got to go. All got to go. And it's like, okay, well, at least she's more moderate. Not that she's, you know, moderate, but she's not as bad as it could be. And I'm saying that because it could have been worse. It could have been a lot fucking worse. But this is going to happen. So just get fucking on. Just get used to it. They are doing this to themselves. They are doing this to them fucking selves. Well, we think migrants are fine, but we are going to have to ban trucks. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Anyway, the authorities don't know of any concrete terror plots, although I'm sure there are some. The country remains on edge after a Tunisian man crashed into a Christmas market in Berlin. There's a general threat. The general security situation, the threat of terrorism has an impact on police action, Cologne's police chief said. Well, I mean, that's nice that you can finally come out and talk about this. I suppose that after covering up all the mass sexual assaults on New Year's Eve 2015, kind of embarrassing. Kind of embarrassing that it all came out. And, like, you know, the first few days of 2016 were furious on social media of all these migrants fucking sexually assaulting and raping people in gangs. But it's not your problem. Cologne will further ban all trucks weighing more than 7.5 tons from entering the city centre. Yeah, because a 6-ton truck won't kill anyone. Why aren't you banning all trucks? I mean, just any truck of any kind. Fucking all vehicles. Get down to the horse and carts. You know, no assault horse and carts. What about bicycles? Who knows what damage could be done? The nearby city of Dusseldorf is also considering a similar ban. The festive mood, however, should not be affected. Well, I mean, I'd be nervous. I'm not going to lie. Jihadis carried out 3 major truck attacks in 6 months after Islamic State urged supporters to target public gatherings. A terrorist killed 84 people on July 14th at the beach walk in Nice. A Palestinian man killed 4 on January 8th when he rammed a truck into a group of Israeli soldiers in Jerusalem. Nothing to do with Islam, though. And this is a good one. Tony Blair is right. Brexiteers shouldn't be afraid to change their minds now, since it's clear what leaving really means. It's true the mood could change when people realise the implication of Brexit at any cost. It means fucking freedom from the cancer that is Merkel. Because, I mean, Merkel is acting unilaterally within the EU. If she lets in, 2 million fucking migrants, and let's be real, the fucking migrants, they're not the best and brightest coming over, you know? And, like, it's something about 30% of them are Syrians. So we already know that 70% of them are not Syrian refugees. And of that percentage of Syrians, we don't know how many are legitimate refugees. But it's not going to be the entire 30%. There are still going to be people who are taking advantage of the fact they're going to go to Germany and be given free money. Probably get to Sweden and get a nice fucking blonde girl to rape as well. Just obviously I'm being facetious now, but just like, come on. These, you know, once they get to Europe, they're going to be able to travel. I mean, like 20% of them have already gone missing. So you have to be more responsible than this. This is just fucking irresponsible. They're like, oh my god, that's racist. It's like, well, it would be racist if I was saying they were doing it because they were born Syrian. But I don't think it is racism because I don't think it's because they were born a certain way. I don't think that Syrian Christians are forming rape gangs. I've not heard of it. Has anyone heard of it? I don't think Syrian atheists are forming rape gangs. But yeah, what do I know? I must be an Islamophobe. So yeah, fuck you. The idea that the fucking Remain campaign think that they should have Tony Blair speak in their fucking defence is a joke. I mean, Tony Blair, he's the least popular politician in all of Britain. And that is only because nobody asks about Peter Mandelson. Peter Mandelson has a nickname in Britain. It is the Prince of Darkness. And I'm not making that up. Again, all these things sound ridiculous, and I feel the need to say, look, I'm not making this up. This is genuinely, like, a thing. His reputation is... He's probably the only politician in Britain with a worse reputation than Tony Blair. And again, he's just like, don't throw in the towel whether they debate legislation paving the way for Brexit. No, just get on with it. The public voted. There was a clear majority. We want to leave. End of story. And the EU probably won't exist by this time next year. If Le Pen and Wilders get in, that's it. I mean, hell, if Le Pen gets in, that's it. The EU is going to crumble, and they know it. The EU is tottering. It's Brexit is going to be one of the firm pillars being pulled out, and the thing's going to be wobbling. And if Le Pen pulls out hers, that's it. The whole thing's just going to go crashing down. I imagine it will turn into like a German rump state, where it's basically Germany controlling some impoverished Eastern European nations and subsidizing them and controlling them. And it'll be basically Merkel will have created the Greater Germany. She'll have got her Lebensraum. Well done, Merkel. It's honestly, the Germans just can't fucking stop themselves. I swear to God. And I love the Germans. they just they are the institutionalists that crowd points them out to be. So Jeremy Corbyn, though, he's decided that he's going to be on the right side of history. I hate using that phrase. I was being sarcastic. And so obviously he's betrayed us over Brexit. How very dare you, Jeremy? How dare you actually be like, you know what, I'm a politician. I should be probably serving the people. And if the people want Brexit, maybe I should be serving the people on Brexit. So I did vote to remain in Europe, expecting the result, but was surprised by Corbyn's reticence between xenophobia and internationalism. I've lived on the continent, felt deracinated all my life, get by in 3 European languages and enjoy encounters that arise from practicing them in Britain. I hope the Labour Party would choose internationalism over xenophobia. You mean globalism over xenophobia. Internationalism would require individual, discrete nation-states all communicating and operating with each other. Globalism is what the EU is about. It's about erasing these nation-states. You couldn't possibly describe it as internationalism when the nations are going to disappear. What kind of fucking stupid terminology is that? But either way, that's why Brexit happened. Look at this. I've lived on the continent. I've travelled. I speak all these European languages. I write for The Guardian. Why do you think the Labour leader is against Brexit? It's for Brexit, against Remain now. He's pro-Brexit. He's had to come out and support because Labour used to be the working man's party. Tony Benn, I think it was. And fucking Arthur Scargill. Imagine them talking to this fucking... Look at this pretentious prick. Look at his face. Oh my God, you are the fucking cancer. You are just... I worked much last year in Colombia. That's great. Because, you know, the average person who voted for Brexit works in Tesco's, you cunt. You know, they can't afford... They go to Brighton or Blackpool for their holidays. They don't go travelling around the globe, you fucking out-of-touch cunts. And talking about out-of-touch cunts... Emma Watson reveals that she couldn't get out of bed after she fell into a sulk after the backlash against her feminism. I'm very proud to have been part of that backlash. The backlash and what she was branded a feminazi and a white privileged feminist. That's exactly true, Emma. You are unbelievably privileged. I mean, you have the privilege to get into a sulk about your pet project, your ideological project, and decide that you're not going to get out of bed. You know, most people can't afford to do that. Most people have to get out of fucking bed if they're upset because they'll get fired if they just say, you know what, boss, I'm really upset that people don't like me being a feminist, and so I'm not going to come in today. I know that you need me to, you know, whatever it is you do in your job because I'm, you know, I'm a factory worker or something, or fucking warehouse worker. I know you need me, and you're relying on me to come in, and you're going to fire my ass if I don't come in, and I'm on fucking just over minimum wage anyway, but fuck it. I'm just too upset. I need to go and lay on my fainting couch. Fucking hell. This is how just out of touch they are. And then they'll... Oh, look at this. Look at fucking this. It's the new face of tolerance. How dare they? How dare... Oh, this is going to be the screenshot. Right, I'm just going to screen cap this. Sorry. The new face of tolerance. I was going to use this... just ruin... I've just given away the surprise to the last article I was going to go over. Fuck's sake. Screwed that up. Never... but anyway, I'll save that for later. Oh no! How difficult the oppression is for Emma Watson. Anyway, after being branded a white privileged feminist whose male-focused drive actually furthered the oppression of women, Oh, so it's not even fucking backlash from us fucking shitlords and ethnic Kekistanis on YouTube and elsewhere on Twitter and whatnot. She's actually getting it from fucking SJWs. Well, this is what you get for being a white privileged feminist. Speaking to Elle magazine, she said, "It really toughened me up. There is a level of criticism that comes with being an actress, which I expect. But once you take a stance on something like feminism, you know, like once you take a pro-cancer stance, it's a completely different ballgame. There are a couple of days where I just wouldn't want to come out from under the duvet. I realised I needed 24 hours to sulk, like a giant fucking child. Unbelievable. These are the, you know, refugee welcome types. Fuck off, you children. You fucking special snowflakes, honestly." Last September, the actress made the headlines with a rousing speech at the United Nations when she launched her He for She. What? Only last September? When was this? February 2017? It wasn't 2016. He for She's 2 years old. God, now I see why the Daily Mail isn't fucking valid on Wikipedia. It wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't last year this was launched. I'm sure it wasn't. She pushed the message gently. In fact, I'm just going to look this fucking up. Okay, so yeah, my video was done 2 years ago on this. This had 270,000 views now, apparently. Yeah, so I might just let that play out. I've probably made all my criticisms there. I'll just carry on. Oh, wrong article. Where was I? There we go. So yeah, Daily Mail, you're fucking wrong. Fuck's sake. Fact check your shit. Despite a tide of negativity against her, Emma has been demanded to speak on the subject and even pen a book. Yes, that's right. That again, it's just how out of touch you are and you're just not listening. You don't care. Carry on. But she admits herself that she's far from being an expert on the history of women's rights and claims she doesn't deserve all the respect that she has received from her supporters since. Well, that's good. I'm so glad that you feel the need and that you feel entitled to go up and start this giant movement and go to the UN, go around the world giving speeches, and you say, well, yeah, you know, I don't really know much about it. Why didn't you educate yourself on the issue? Why didn't you get a book? Then you can say, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. She adds, I need to see him do a bit more first. Yes, you're a privileged young woman. I don't... Yeah, no, just cancer. Anyway, so, getting to really the left opening up and really revealing how it feels about, well, life. It's time to give up on facts. There we are. We finally reached it. Peak 2017. In fact, no, I say that, but we're 2 months in, almost 3 months in, and 2017 has been unbelievably amazing. Actually, this was from February 8th, so I probably shouldn't have used this one, but obviously I failed to cover it, and it's just so good, I can't not include it. Time to give up on facts. What kind of fucking... Slate, aren't you embarrassed? I can't imagine ever publishing a video called It's Time to Give Up on Facts. Or at least temporarily lay them down in favour of a more useful weapon, emotions. Holy fuck. Do you even understand why people hate you? Obviously not, but... So, several years ago, when my last name was different and my politics was less entrenched, I worked for a non-partisan fact-checking site. We analysed falsehoods in political speeches and ads and emails forwards. No, there won't be any death panels. No, Sarah Palin didn't cut funding for education, for special education. Yes, Obama was born in America. No, he wasn't in the video for Whoomp, there it is. That's funny. Many of these so-called zombie rumours, we would try to smack them down, but a few months later they would be again. Yeah, but you only have to rebut it once, and then you can just send them the link afterwards, can't you? Over the 3 years I worked there, more and more zombie rumours massed at our door. We just kept plugging away, calmly stating the facts, because that was our job. But inside our well-insulated office we were screaming. What was the point of working so tirelessly to uncover the truth when falsehoods never died? Because if you don't have the truth, and it has to be perpetually there, the falsehoods will take over. Which is why you can't just sit there and teach white privilege and all this sort of shit in universities as a fact without being challenged, because otherwise these are falsehoods that do never die and they take over. And the thing is, right, I get a lot of people saying, oh, why didn't you say, you know, Trump said this and it wasn't true, Trump said that and you didn't mention it. It's like, well, look, I don't really actually cover Trump. I cover people's reactions to Trump. I'll probably do a video at some point about what I don't like about Donald Trump and what I feel that he's doing wrong and stuff like this. But to be honest with you, so far, the things that he's done have actually been pretty decent. And I agree with a lot of them. And I don't really see, like, the problem isn't really with what he's doing. The problem really is with the mythos that the regressive left have built up around him. Honestly, I'll do a stream or a video or something about the press conference that everyone's like, again, just shrieking hysterically about. Because, I mean, if you just look at his actions, they've been exactly what he said he would do. And what he said he would do is what the people have voted for, the working class people who have not had their interests served, who have been outside of the media's Overton window. These people needed help. And I totally understand that. I relate to that. Michael Moore understands and relates to that, and he doesn't care. This total fucking class traitor, if we want to go down that route, Michael. You know, I'm so sorry. But the thing is, right, if it was that the plebeians were marching on the institutions with pitchforks because they were crazy Christians or something, and they were like, you know what, this learning is all satanic, and we want to, you know, want to put an end to this thing. Higher mathematics, that's fucking racist. Or, you know, if they were doing that sort of stuff, I would be totally against them. 100% against doing all of this. But it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite. These gender studies courses have cooked up total bullshit in their universities. And I'm not joking. Total bullshit. None of it is realistic, representative of reality. It's horse shit. And the only way they can get people to believe it is by having it in a closed environment with people who go there to learn, expect to be taught facts and never to be challenged. That's the only way they can get people to believe this shit, is by indoctrinating them into it. And I can't support this. You know, there is no supporting this. And it's the same with like Trump. Yeah, he says and does stupid things. He's a terrible speaker. He's a buffoon in many areas. You know, he's not sophisticated. You know, he might be well educated, but he's not sophisticated. And he's old as well. People forget that, you know, he's 70 years old. I'm honestly amazed that he's as compos mentis as he is. But he's not awful. He's doing the right thing for the right people. And it's just that these people are outside of the purview of the media. They don't care. They don't even know they exist in many cases. They just don't give a shit. It's just, I mean, the Van Jones thing I covered in the Professional Liars video was just the perfect example of this. Just where it's just like, wow, Trump supporters exist who aren't just KKK members. Mind blown. Whoa, calm down. You're shaking my frame of reference. I'm the victim here because I earn $1 million a year and I live in a fucking apartment in fucking Manhattan or something, and you're some Idaho dirt farmer, and you're struggling to get along, and I'm just like, whoa, this is mind blowing, dude. Fuck you, you elitist cunts. I hate it. It's so fucking unfair. The people with the power and the privilege are just exercising that power and privilege just with impunity, without any consideration for anyone else. You know, and I'm surprised they brought up classism in that fucking course. I can't believe they want to talk about that. I mean, classism is like a legit problem that these people are in the middle of demonstrating. These are the people who are the ruling aristocratic class in modern societies, and they act like it, and they don't even understand that they're doing it. That's the worst part. At least aristocrats in previous generations knew that they were fucking aristocrats. They knew that they were the top and the elite, and they were ignoring the peasants. They at least were aware of this, but now they don't even know. They're so fucking insulated. They just block whoever... Like, George Takei the other day, oh my god, yesterday, on Twitter, he put up a fucking poll, and this is, I guess this is turning into a kind of rambly podcast, but here we go, and we're still all over the place here, fuck it. You've probably logged off by now, so I don't blame you. Anyway, right. So, George Takei puts up this poll. Who do you trust, Donald Trump or the media? And it started going in his favour, obviously, because his fans were voting on it. And then... then, obviously, other people found it. You know, the retweeting of it had introduced it into a foreign audience. And so people started just, you know, well, I trust Trump more. And that's what this poll done by Fox News the other day showed that most people trusted. It wasn't by a huge margin. And I should look into who conducted the poll, really. But it's obvious that Donald Trump does have a lot of support. And George Takei, after people started voting against him, he deleted the poll and then said, oh, the poll was hijacked by alt-right trolls. And I just replied to him going, do you mean, when you say hijacked, do you mean Do you mean participated in? And when you say alt-right trolls, do you mean people outside of my ideology? Because if you say it was participated in by other people, then that makes sense. And that's not demonizing them. That's not. I mean, you don't even know who was voting, George. You don't know who they were. They could have all been these Idaho dirt farmers who had just logged into Twitter for the first time. Thought, oh, I like George Takei. Oh, he's in Star Trek. Ooh, oh, look, he's got a poll. Yeah, a vote. Oh, he's calling me a piece of shit. Thanks, George. What's it like being a multi-millionaire? What's it like having the social reach of fucking... that was, right up there. He's got millions and millions of followers. I mean, his Facebook groups... I remember following him on Facebook a few years ago. He had like 15 million followers. That's comparable to Donald Trump's Twitter reach. And it's just like, man, you are so arrogant and out of touch. Just... you deserve to be brought down by your hubris. But anyway... This is the going back to this. Sorry, I know this is awful. I don't do this often. Normally, I try and do a good job on This Week in Stupid. Normally, I try to keep it around 20 to 30 minutes long as well. So yeah, if you didn't watch this far, I don't fucking blame you. Anyway, by trying to stem the tide of untruths, we were probably making everything worse. How? Repeating a falsehood, even as part of a meticulously researched article that debunks it, actually reinforces the falsehood. How does that make sense? The human brain seems to experience fact-checking as a statement followed by a bunch of Charlie Brown teacher noises. Right, oh, right, okay. I thought you might have been linking me to a scientific article, Miss Fact Checker. But obviously not. You're just going to just give me an assertion and just... We even did this then. I can probably designate a Washington Post article about the live repetition phenomenon as my first lol nothing matters moment, 6 years before the phrase became a meme. My most memorable illustration of the concept was at the time someone emailed to ask about the rumour on Snopes.com. As in, is Snopes full of shit or not? And most of the time it is. No, that's not true. Some of the time it is. On particularly politically charged topics, they softball the things they like and they hardball the things they don't like. That's basically it. So they'll give a charitable interpretation to Hillary Clinton. So like, they will literally put up like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was looking at it the other day. And it was, is this true? And then literally the first paragraph said, yes, this is exactly true. And then they'll mark it, half true, half not. It's like, no, you just said it was true. You just said it was true. You can't mark it as like half true. And what they'll do is they'll find a misrepresentation of what someone has said and say, well, this one thing that isn't really connected to the main body of the thing, that's not true. And it's like, okay, well, then, just say that. That's not the thing you were actually addressing. Anyway. It said false boldly at the top. The person had forgotten that part but remembered the claim. Really? Really? Do you honestly think that that's the issue? Do you? I just... I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that people will simply go, you know what, I just remember the claim and not whether it's true or not. Can't be true. But anyway, facts are not the opposite of lies. Indeed, to defeat lies, we may have to temporarily, in a targeted way, give up on facts. Oh yeah, go on. The thing, are you going to counter a lie with another lie, are you? That sounds like a healthy thing for us to do. That's not going to completely demolish any kind of the concept of political discourse. And honestly, Slate, that's not going to really drive people to the alternative media who actually do still care about facts. Are they? Are they? Of course it is. But anyway, fuck it. We're almost an hour and a half in, and I'm not going through her justifying her... Let's get to the end, in fact. So let journalists continue to fact-check, harder than ever before. What? Okay. Let them pledge to never repeat the administration's fabrications without newspaper equivalent of an Arrested Development voiceover. But don't carry those correlations wholesale to your GOP representative of your racist family members. Jeez. And think you're going to win. What we need first is a way to unseat the lies. And whatever that winds up looking like, it means it's going to mean swallowing your pride, asking the right questions and listening to the answers. Look the zombie in the face and then offer it your heart. Honestly, Jess, I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain to you that you are the people who are generally purveyors of lies. Now, I'm not saying you personally, I'm saying Slate. I'm saying, Huffington Post. Although the Huffington Post, everyone thinks Huffington Post is worse than it is. The Huffington Post will publish regressive think pieces, but they will also have them side by side by non-regressive think pieces, arguing the opposite. So the Huffington Post is actually not as bad as you think. because they will give a platform to opinions that they don't like. And I just want to give you a really good example of this. Hang on. This. Sargon of Akkad and the Importance of Free Speech on the Huffington Post. Thank you, Matthew Rosa. I appreciate this. In fact, I think I've criticised him before. I'm sure. What did I... Editorials Salon... I recognise this guy. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Did he write the hit piece again? He called me the alt-right sympathiser. And I tweeted at him saying, can you say that I'm not an alt-right sympathiser, please? Because I'm not. And he refused. Oh, I was hoping it would be in his Twitter thing. Wow. That's impressive. I have to say, Matthew. That is impressive. But, and he even says here, you know, this was written last year. The, you know, YouTube pundit, which, okay, fine, who identifies as a classical liberal. Okay, yeah, that's good. But yeah, I've become a source of controversy for my brazenly un-PC style of championing causes, held in low regard by the mainstream media. Gamergate anti-feminism. This is what I mean, right? That said, this is not an awful characterization of me. It's a biased one, but it's not awful. You know, it's not like... I wouldn't be offended by this characterization. And then he says, that said, even if Sargon was a gibbering idiot, it would still behoove me to defend him when his ability to freely express his ideas comes under attack. Honestly, that's... Mate, if I've disagreed with you in the past, and you've misrepresented me in the past, which I think you have, but you know, that is respectable, and, you know, I can sign off that, man. You know, I feel the same. You know, I would never want to have someone's freedom of speech impugned or impinged just because I disagree with their ideas. And that's the thing about the Huffington Post. It does print the most regressive shit in the world sometimes, but it also prints things like this. And so, I really do think being fair is important. I really think it's important. The Huffington Post is not the worst, by a long shot. I mean, I remember the Suey Park thing where the Huffington Post moderator, she was like, well, you know, that's my opinion. And he was like, yeah, but it's a stupid opinion. Just shot back at her. And it was so, fuck! And she was just triggered, basically. So they do have their fair share of regressors, but they have some principles. They're not like, you know, places like Salon and Slate and stuff like this. But anyway, and this, I guess we should probably finish. There's a lot of talk about journalists, obviously, recently, and with rightly so, and with good reason. But there are some journalists out there that are doing the right thing and are doing good work. And if you can find one that is being neutral and objective, like in the case of Matthew Rosa here, I would certainly recommend that if people appreciate his work, then you should support him. You know, and with any of them, with any of these journalists, if they're doing good work and they're actually being neutral and objective and trying to serve the public interest rather than being self-serving, then they should be supported. Absolutely, fully, completely agree with that. And it's important to delineate between the two types, because there's a certain kind of in-group and a certain kind of out-group in all of these sort of circles. And if he's not in it, and he might be, I don't know. I mean, I'm just judging by what he's done. But anyone who displays journalistic integrity should be supported. Anyway, so this is pretty much, I mean, basically anyone who's not arguing that we just ignore facts. Anyone who's, you know, don't support Jess Zimmerman. I don't even care. No, this is not something we're going to do. I don't even care if this would be maybe a technically more proficient way of achieving the goal. This is not the right way to do it. You know, I don't come from the Bob Chipman school of thought that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. This is a terrible tactic, even if it was effective. And even if you were using it against the right target, no. It's never time to give up on facts. Jesus fucking Christ, Slate, sort your life out.